another critical analysis today. So how about the ECC boss Oginda's message to State House? Let's dive into more about what goes around us. And of course, there is a lot of discussion surrounding ODM, others surrounding the government, and also ex-army group. So currently, let's start with something that is mild before we get to more details. Man. All right, guys, so let's start with the arrest of Hiram Kimathi. From there, we can proceed to the rest of the XDF, Patrick Osoi, and the rest of the FBI members. Of course, yesterday we talked about this, but we're still talking about it because more news are coming in, and therefore let's start with this event, and maybe you can comment or type in the comment section what you feel about this. Let's go.
Of a member of the Fighting Brutality and Impunity movement in a matter of days. As seen in this tweet from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI detectives apprehended Kimathi in Kinoru Village, Meru County. The DCI states the arrest followed an intelligence-led operation and that Kimathi is currently undergoing processing pending his arraignment. This arrest, which according to sources lasted for 4 hours, sparked an immediate reaction from his legal team. Through an amateur recording, we got more details on the arrest from his lawyer, Evans Mutegi.
Leo ameweza kukamatwa ni polisi hapa wa kutoka DCI headquarters. Wametueleza watambook Kambakia police station. Ndio tunataka kwenda kufuatilia tuone kama amebukiwa Kambakia police station ama atabukiwa. Nimemuona akitoka, afya yake ilikuwa mzuri, hakuwa na alama yoyote ya maumivu ama nini, hata kama ameshikwa.
This arrest follows the apprehension of 2 other members of the
so guys, of course, all of us know that 2 days ago there was the arrest of Patrick Osoi, who was actually thought to have plotted to overthrow the government of RUTO. We also had to see Corporal Shakur arrested when he came to the Kahawa courts, and he had to face scrutiny. So this actually raises questions, because now Kimathi, all of you know that he's the police who rejected the shoot to kill orders after CS Murkomen announced that. All of you saw this face here. Do you remember? All right, I hope all of you remember that face. Now it comes out as, you know, an alert call that now raises concern, because it seemingly appears the government is afraid of, you know, the FBI group, Fight Brutality in Kenya. Now, this group actually is against brutality and impunity in the police forces, and most of them have been dropped from either KDF, police force, or any other army. And therefore, they formed a group. And the government is so afraid because given that these people are highly trained and they have been continuously practicing with their guns, then it comes out that the president is scared of what may come out of this. Now, his arrest was not easy. Kimathi actually was resistant in the arrest, and we saw when they went to his house, he tended to tell them that he needs his lawyer, he will not use their vehicle, and when he is arraigned in court, he will not speak, but he will require that the other people speak. So when the DCI officers arrived in his home, he did not just get to be arrested as easy as that. Maybe here are more details.
Unaona, sijakataa, unaona. Sikiza basi, nisikiza basi. Sijakataa. Sijakataa. Hapana, I want to go with, let my brother come. Ni sawa basi. Na nivae na tuende kwa shida iko wapi. But first of all, you have to book me in Meru police station.
There is no problem. That's procedure.
Na mimi siende na gari yenu.
Well, utaenda na ile unataka.
Mimi nataka kuenda na gari ya lawyer yangu.
Fine.
That is so simple.
There's no problem.
So hiyo mambo ingine yo jamaa kutishiana hiyo.
Achana na vitisho. Na hata unatisha. Sasa unatishia polisi, unaona kama wewe kuna vile utafanya ubaki hapa. There is no way. Kama ni arrest tumekuja, hautatufunza how we should arrest you.
You are supposed to do your arrest.
You are right.
Hata kuargue na wewe ni kupoteza time ndugu yangu. I'm not getting out. I may choose not to get out.
The global AI market is
So guys, you actually saw that exchange between Kimathi and the DCI, and we could see his house and everything there, him moving, talking to somebody else, until later on he was even talking to the brother and demanding that the lawyer must be there. And of course, he left the house when he's in a very good state. And later on, of course, the arrest took about 4 hours, something that has never happened. So, of course, the DCI officers are very worried because of that FBI group. And this is why they are worried. Let's get here. Raila Sean, hi. Welcome on board. Thank you so much for being here. Raila Sean, thank you so much for being here. Hi, hi, hi. I'm so grateful that you're here, and thank you for the like. Oh, Jay. All right. Thank you so much for your presence. I really appreciate. So the long arrest is not the only scaring thing here. Whatever is scaring the government is this. Let's look at this. And I don't know, this fella comes out on camera and begins to threaten the government. Sijui kama apendi maisha yake ama amejiandaa. Nobody knows. Let's go for this and watch. Raila Sean, I'm talking about the current situation of Kenya with the FBI group. Are you aware of that group? FBI group is actually the ex-army group formed by police who either were, sacked or walked out of duty because they felt like they cannot, abide by what is happening. So currently, they have formed a group known as FBI, Fight Brutality in Kenya. And they are becoming a threat to the government. So let's listen to what this guy told the government, and then we can proceed, right?
To listen to me very clearly. All right? I want you to listen to me very clear, without fear or favor. I've been warning you, but you are taking it as a joke. And this is the last warning. Release Patrick Nyambaka Osoi. Release him. Release him. Release Cop Shaku. Don't temper with the cops. We have so many comrades outside there. You don't know. And I warned you before, and I told you this. We as a forces, we are tired. And we will fight for our own people. We will. I've said this, that we are not Gen Zs of threatened, shoot to kill. We are not civilians. Our ways are different with your way. When times comes, it's now coming. Release those two comrades with immediate effect if you want peace. And if you don't want peace, remember, Kenya Prisons X are coming for you. KDF X are coming for you. Kenya Navy X are coming for you. Kenya Air Force X are coming for you. Kenya Police X are coming for you. GSU are coming for you. AP are coming for you. Don't try the fight. RUTO, you are going over. And we are not going to tolerate your nonsense.
You think this guy is taking away?
Yeah, guys, you see that a guy there? He's not taking a joke. And I don't think he could come out here speaking like that. And he knows very well that they've begun a crackdown on ex-army group, particularly when they understood that they have registered a group known as FBI. So this must be something that the president should be actually worried about, right? I don't know what you think. Type in the comment section and drop a comment to see what you believe, right? But when you look at situations, there's no time, apart from 1992, a time when some of us were nowhere even to be seen. Simple White, hi. Simple White, thank you, welcome on board, and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so also, and I appreciate your presence here. So there's no time we've seen that the police rebel against the government and respond directly. But since Sabasaba Day, guys, things turned, and we began seeing that the soldiers are ready to respond and answer, you know. Like Murkomen says an order, a police comes out on social media and responds. The president speaks and a soldier stands and speaks. This is not the Kenya we know. Bad Boy X, welcome on board, like the video. Hii njeve inaitisha kahawa. Hey, suseme nilipewa moja kwa bili yako, uko base gani? Bad Box, uko base gani ndio upewe kahawa kwa bili yangu? Because hapa tuko na kahawa tele. Alright, Bad Box. Welcome on board. Na upende video. Niko Thika Zetech. Hey, Zetech College. It's now a university. Thika is one of the bases I love, but I've taken time. I think I'll be there soon. I hope so. Let me just go to another place first. I'm taking to a different destination, kesho. Then I'll see whether I'll be in Thika, guys. Zetech. And I'll be like, bad boys, come here. Kahawa ndio hii. All right? Okay, so like the video, penda video. It's cold as hell. Nipewe kikombe kimoja, right? Nyinyi mko kwa kahawa because all the side ya Kiambu, from Kiambu all the way to wapi kwingine wamepanda kahawa sana, guys. So of course kikombe hata kimoja hakitoshi. Unafaa kunywa more than 1 cup, guys. Yep. So Bad Box, thank you for coming here na kuchangamsha platform. Do also like the video. Give our video a kiss. We say kiss the video, right? Simple White, umeenda wapi? Where have you gone? Welcome on board and give us a like on the video. And let's proceed with this analysis, guys. Things are hot in government as far as it is cold out there. The weather is cold, but things are hot in government. So when you look at what's happening in government, actually, you wouldn't believe what's going on. You know, the ex-soldiers, ex-army group, we have never seen such a situation ever. We just hear about 1992, and that time we were, I don't know, some of us were not there, some were there, but we were just small kids, and we did not understand what's there. So it's like there is fire everywhere. We have seen fire in on ex-army group against the government. We've seen fire in ODM, Babu threatening to walk away. Of course, he can walk away. According to that, we've seen fire also in ODM with Sifuna being challenged. And we've also seen fire in the Democratic Party, right? With Natembea demanding that there should be a democratic rebranding of the union, right? Now, let's push ahead and see the visitation of Uhuru Kenyatta in State House. Francis Kamau, hi, welcome on board. Aoro waku. Okay, welcome on board. Welcome on board back to this political sagas. Now, guys, when Uhuru Kenyatta stepped in State House, many people are like, there was some endorsement going on, right? Of late, we were seeing a lot of sympathy, some kind of distanced sympathy that Gachagua has been showing towards Uhuru Kenyatta, talking about what he did foolishly, like the goats, what happened, sending goons to actually capture the goats. And that narrative was coming down as we saw then, was it Moses Kuria responding and all that. Now, we didn't see Kenyatta coming out anytime soon. He was even quiet, totally quiet. Now, yesterday when we had this it's called what? ESC Sadiq United, peace efforts that they were pushing towards the DRC, Eastern DRC. That is the first time we saw Uhuru Kenyatta in State House. And this is the thing. If you missed it out, this is how it was, guys. All right. So, of course, all of you have seen how the very, very first person to arrive there was, before the rest of the leaders came and took a picture with our President RUTO, we have seen how Uhuru Kenyatta came, and people are now asking, was there an endorsement, at that? So guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you see the former president coming to, to State House, and he is the first visitor before anybody else who came to that meeting arrived, then questions arise. Of course, when you look at the comment section, many people began to feel like there is something more than just, coming to this meeting. Let's read some comment section. Like someone says, I like how Uhuru greets with a lot of energy. Mwingine anasema mbele iko sawa urito. Hey. Oh my God. Have you seen that comment? Another one says, this is what Kenya deserves. Unity, not division. Another one says, our leaders are beautiful. Another one, huyu ndiye bazuu, alafu bado ni one term. Another one says, asante sana comes out naturally from him. Mwingine, he reminds me of my brother in every way, a gentleman whose true emotions are hidden. The other one says, this is absolutely beautiful. URUTO, may God bless Kenya. Who has realized how State House has changed? The reception with 2 guards on 2 sides. It's awesome looking. May God bless Kenya. Jim, guys, Jim. Uhuru, my president, you know. Now, when you look at those few comments, of course, you understand something about Kenyans, you know. Kenyans are excited, everything around them, but it sends a very important message. Now, people, of course, are calling for unity, but when they see this, they remember the time of RUTO. So they are now asking, did Uhuru and RUTO go to discuss something political? Are they trying to pull Uhuru so that now he goes to Murima and sells a narrative? Is it possible? Those are the many possibilities people are actually raising, you know? And the people had to follow up the speeches that were delivered during this entire discussion, right? Yep. And of course, there is a lot of backlash against Gachagua for whatever reasons, you know? Like, why did Wajakoyo come to Obina TV and say that Kenya needs better than this? Let's look at that.
I'm also asking Gachagua, wewe ulipokuwa kule, sasa unasema they are writing scripts for you to read. Fair enough. Why can't you tell us about kwa wale watoto ambao waliwawa tukifanya maandamano? Gachagua, I'm addressing this to you now that you are privy to information. Why can't you apologize to Kenyans on those statements you used to make that particular time? Why can't you come up and say watoto fulani waliwawa na mimi nilikuwa nimeambiwa hivi, nilikuwa naenda kwa ofisi usubuhi kabisa kwenda to make sure things have gone this way? Why is this? Why is Sudi now talking of plans to assassinate Raila at Serena Hotels that is willing to go on? All this is a circus. If Sudi is saying that, where was he? Was he privy to that conversation? Does Gachagua know about those assassinations? Let them come out. Kenyans, I'm asking you through Obina's show. Watoke, waje watuambie, watoto fulani, waliwawa, wengine wako pale, Ruto aje atuambie, mtoto wa Mturi tulikuwa tumeweka ndani namna hii. That is when we shall sit down. Lakini mambo ya hypocrisy, campaigning every day. Campaigning every day. Your days will come also, my friend. Mheshimiwa Ruto. Your days will also come. Zamoi zilikuja kaenda, Mobutu alikuja kaenda, Amini alikuja kaenda, hata wewe utaenda. Kwa hivyo, do the right thing. Wow. That's something.
That was Wajakoyo in Obina shop. You know, currently, politicians are using these platforms to share what they feel. Now, this reminds me of Sudi. Sudi who tried to say that they have to assassinate or deal with Gachagua in all ways, because he fears that if Gachagua gets into the office as the president, he's going to arrest all of them, guys. So let's get to see this video of Sudi's discussions. And what do you think about this, you know? Let's get to find it. I heard it already. I don't know where or how I got to miss it out. Yeah, so Sudi actually sent a very heavy message. And most of the times, he speaks confidently, and whatever he says, you know, is not actually right. But it is what it is, guys. Francis Kama, where did you go? Already, I appreciate the 5 likes. I'm so happy about that. So Sudi addressed Gachagua, or rather said that they should win and deal with Gachagua. And whichever way Gachagua will have it rough, that's what he said. Let's just check for the specific part so that we hear what he's saying, you know. So let's find this and see what Oscar is saying about Gachagua, you know. Sometimes these leaders just surprise me with their statements, you know. Is this the one?
Simuliona ule mndasimu ule mwenye ajenganga hapa chuo alipiga kelele sana ati kabisa yetu wanapeana matatu, kabisa yetu wanapeana bodaboda, wanapeana mitungi maziwa.
I think you can hear that.
Sasa inakuashia nini wewe nani? Inawaashia nini? Yeye alikuwa naibu wa rais. Unajua tofauti yangu na huyo mndasimu huyo wa Mnyoro. Tofauti yangu ni moja tu. Yeye alisanya pesa yake akanunua mahoteli kwa mwaka 2. Mimi nimesanya yangu kidogo, hata kama niko na kidogo ninatumia na wananchi wengine. Na mimi nataka nimwambie huyo mtu huyo. Unajua akisimama tu kila
So let me start off by thanking
tukipiwa kona ndio William Ruto. Huyo mtu ni mtu mjinga excess. Unajua? Nilikuwa nasikia anasema huko Kapseret. Huyo William Ruto anapatia watu wao. Mimi nauliza nyinyi. Ile watu wanachukua uwezo hapa na wanachukua wenye tulipatia empowerment. Ni wakala nyinyi peke yake. Huyo mtu ako na habari kweli hapa ni Cosmopolitan. Ako na habari kwanza hapa ni Kenya. Anasimama tu na kuongea ajui amwambie mtumanishie data. Mwambie kuna Ocheng hapa, kuna Kamau hapa, kuna kila mtu hapa. Hiyo tulifanya hiyo empowerment tulifanya hapo kila mtu alipata. Hata mimi nilikuwa nakuwa surprise nikitumanishia unaona kila mtu, kila kabila walipata. So tunataka tuambie huyo mtu tafadhali. Wewe fanya rali yako hiyo ya hewa, wacha sisi tufanye hii ya wananchi. William Ruto akijenga soko utaki. Akijenga hapo na sasa utaki. Mimi nikifanya.
So Sudi came out strongly, not just on that claim, but he came out recently talking about how they are gonna deal with the Gachagua. And of course, I'm looking for that specific video, guys. Just give me some time, but you can continue commenting on the comment section and also make friends on the channel if this pleases you. So let's get to see the specific video where Oscar Sudi, here it is. Yeah, right here.
Engineer Wycliffe at all.
Let's start from here. Yeah, let me play this part, guys.
Gachagua, that's fine. Bora wajue wakishindwa Gachagua atawafuta.
Yeah, so I found this from the analysis done by David Wafula, actually, that because I've tried to find the video on its own and I can't get it. So Oscar Sudi was trying to say that Gachagua should prepare his own funeral because he will be dying soon, because the President Ruto will be there for 2 terms and he should prepare for his funeral, because once Ruto makes it, he will not have anywhere to run to. They'll have to deal with him, right? Those are threats from political leaders. Now let's listen to this. The reason why he's so afraid about Gachagua, what is his fear? Here he shares it.
So Sudi, be humble. You never know kura itaenda namna gani. Never be too sure. Raila was studying exercise this document which.
So it's so funny. The Kenyan politicians sometimes in for threats, they go in for anything. They decide to use whatever way, and they don't even sieve their political utterances. And I wonder what they think Kenyans or rather citizens should go for, because sometimes they fight and verbally accuse each other to an extent that you would believe they're real enemies, only later to see them shaking hands. And it's so embarrassing that citizens have not learned the reality about these guys. Now, look at the fight, for example, within the Democratic Party. Yesterday, all of you, if you watched the videos circulating around, it was a story about Natembea and Eugene Wamalwa, alongside other leaders within that party. Now, everyone else wants to be the leader of the party, and there are claims that that party has remained to be one ethnic group. Talk about ethnic group, not a tribe as per se, but a specific group of people from a specific ethnic group within Kenya. So it becomes a fight then that leaves citizens confused, and that is why sometimes voters should be very careful. As far as they hear all they get from different people, they should think about it. Let's hear what Herman Manyora thinks about the storm in the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, ODM is still in a lot of chaos, you know. Let's get to see this one in Herman Manyora's show.
I'm looking for somebody, and this is between, and they have to choose between Eugene and George Natembeya, Eugene seems to have an upper hand in terms of the traditional way of assessing a leader. But these are no ordinary times. George Natembeya, the governor of Trans Nzoia County, has come up with a revolutionary way of looking at things. His Tawe movement puts him ahead of the queue. He's saying it cannot be business as usual. To a very large extent, he has managed to extinguish the fire from traditional Luya leaders. Davadi, Katangula, Paranya, and the rest of these Luya leaders. The Tawe movement led by George Natembeya has thrown them into the dustbin of irrelevance.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to
The advertisement, guys, hey,
Kenya's go-to online store.
let's skip them anyway. But you've heard what Herman Manyora is saying, and that is why exactly when Natembeya speaks, he speaks with a lot of confidence. And no wonder people are questioning the visitation of CS Murkomen in his office, and he had to stand up and say that, do you think I'm going anywhere? I'm not being swayed by anybody. I'm still in the opposition. And I cannot run when CS Murkomen comes to my office. Did you expect me to run? But there are so many buts surrounding his visitation anyway. So people are asking, did he come maybe to, to convince him into something in government? I don't know, guys. If you think differently from what I think, type comments in the comment section, guys. And thank you for the 5 likes out of 20 that you are targeting. If you not like the video, continue, actually like it. Now, let's also look at Sifuna Raila dispute and the fault they played. Now, we want to look in another person's perspective. Of course, for me, I've already done an analysis on that, and I've seen the fault is the fact that Sifuna is thinking just like Natembeya thinks. He thinks in the contemporary situation, and that is why he's very quick to say his mind. While Raila thinks in the, traditional way of the party. And he thinks because I started the party, I've been there all along, then things remain my way. However, it seems that things are changing. Let's listen to this again from Herman Manyora show, because I really like the way he analyzes things. So let's listen to this.
The top leadership, the top leader told me that, you see, it's very difficult to distinguish what Sifuna says as a person and what Sifuna says as Secretary General. And therefore, there's need for there to be a party position. So the party organ sits with Sifuna there, they listen to him, he listens to others, and when they walk out of that room, they have a party position. And Sifuna, being the Secretary General, unfortunately, has the one to read the party statement. It's not bad for Sifuna, it's not tough for him, I understand. Then I asked him, but hope you are not hitting the young man so much. He said, no. It's just, there are people, of course, they are hardliners.
Is this position too big for Sifuna? I was listening to Aaron. Listening to Aaron Cheriot, and he says the problem with Sifuna is that he just has to speak, without going through the party mechanisms. For Aaron Cheriot, he says, I have to listen to my bosses within you.
But Aaron Cheriot, when they were under siege by Raphael Tuju, I remember, he was just speaking the way Sifuna is speaking. So it's normal for politicians to speak from both sides of the mouth and mouth depending. Aaron Cheriot was even worse than Sifuna when they were sitting in Jubilee. So, you have forgotten.
let me ask you this though. Yes. The party comes up with this position.
All right, so you've heard that, right? That Sifuna is actually doing, even as they go through dialogue and all those moments, he doesn't look at everything as it should be. Now, for example, there was a dialogue going on in a studio. KTN, right? And what did he say? I don't know whether you can hear him here.
on Tuesday, we saw them officially declare its full support for the Kenya Kwanza administration. Now, this is just coming days after the ODM Secretary General.
We don't discuss university funding model. We don't discuss to very many. Yeah? All those, because every government is elected. Uganda's president was here. His son, who is the chief of defense forces, has been making very volatile statements. And no one asked, it was not discussed. Once you actually make Nairobi become a joke to our neighbors, then you have got kids born in purple like Mohozi being able to make statements like the ones he does every day, and he gets away with it. But why wouldn't Mohozi do what he's doing if Kampala can be allowed to come to Nairobi?
So guys, we are into this kind of, we realize that Sifuna is in kind of a siege. While the party is pressing him to say some other statements, his personality pulls him to say something else. And of course, those behind him that are making noise, it might be that they are thinking in the same line with him, but they have a goal to achieve. And when you look at this, ladies and gentlemen, you realize why our leadership in Kenya has had a problem, because people have to flow with the crowd. They have to go with the crowd in certain parties. I just began by telling you about the RUTO UHURU thing. Actually, at the State House, the meeting that was there, even though at some point, UHURU said that he cannot spell out whom he should endorse. However, that yesterday's meeting spells volumes, right? Now, when you come to a Democratic Party, you see a lot of aspects. And here is why you have to question. Why are they coming out and speaking to the press differently? You know? Why is Eugene Wamalwa saying that everything will be sorted in a democratic way because they are a Democratic Party and they will not split? Does it mean he's already giving in and allowing people like, Natembea to take over? Why is it that they had to raise the press release yesterday? When you look at the government, for example, RUTO and UHURU, there was that general meeting, of course, and visitors had to be there. Why is it that we had to see Uhuru Kenyatta walking to the, to the State House before any other person? And it took some while before we saw anybody else walking in. You've seen it, the video that just played, right? Now, when you talk about, for example, the opposition, the other opposition umbrella that is coming up, why is it that we are seeing Kalonzo Musyoka really speaking loud about himself and his position? Then we come to hear from Natembea speaking very loud. We also see Matiang'i coming out speaking loud about his ability to lead. At the same time, Gachagua and then Martha Karua. That tells us something, right? That the explosive power clash in the parties is just something different on another level in our country, right? So, of course, Bishop Oginde was in State House praying and sending stark warnings to, to the corrupt officials. And so far, people are now interpreting that very differently, right? Now, Sifuna seems to have had a journey towards resignation because he came to KTN, was it Citizen or KTN? And he came out saying that he's ready to resign. However, he has been trapped. He has been somehow trapped in the power deal of 2027 because that was an agreement they made earlier. And we saw them dancing after this marriage of broad-based government, right? So let's look partly into this. And if you've been watching the different statements from Sifuna and how he looks confused, then you would understand this. In fact, there's a day I did some analysis and I asked, why the double talk,
William Ruto in 2027. So if we stopped, all of us, if all of us agreed, all of us should agree. Senator all of us should agree.
Senator
Honorable Speaker, please don't stop me.
You are now contravening standing order.
Now the Speaker himself is interrupting me.
Standing on
a resurrection, a hug, a deal, and the return of Raila's machine in the streets of Nairobi. And
Right. So ODM has returned in the government, but how relevant are they, and what message are they sending to the citizens? What is your thought? For example, whoever is watching or listening to me, what is your thought about what ODM is actually standing for and what it stood for? How about Sifuna? What is your thought about him? You know, I'm thinking of how somebody like, because when we saw this RUTO and Uhuru Kenyatta walking into that office, then there is always a problem with people taking pictures with you on or other videos. Now, if you look at Morara, for example, Morara was coming out to unveil the ghost projects and all that. And do you know how he came to fail? He attended a meeting at KICC where we had this spokesman, the government spokesman was there. And after that, he was taken, there was a picture taken of him with this spokesman. And since then, he did not have any position, because now citizens began saying, yeah, he seems to be working for the government. He's a project. Just like they also talked about this guy, Makoere, you know. And once they began saying that, the government now got an advantage over him, and he could not now go out freely. So now people began attacking him. And with time, now he has been pressed to the ground, with citizens demanding that the money they donated towards campaigns should now be returned. And of course, I saw recently a very funny move that he decided that he's going to return the money. I was like, are you serious? Because if you went around actually showing us those ghost projects, that was enough. Why would you be pressed to the ground to return? And of course, remember, even before that, he was reported not to be paying tax. And those are the tactics that are used in politics. Politics is actually a dirty game, very dirty, you know. So when you look at Edwin Sifuna's statement, hiyo dialogue yenu ni wizi mtupu. It is him speaking. But when it comes to the government, it's like, we are with the government, we are working together. So that double talk actually sometimes makes citizens question about whoever is speaking, whether he has specific intentions or he's representing himself. Now let's look at Babu, for example. Babu says he respects the government, or rather the president, so much, you know. But then there are suspicions that he may be going to Gachagwa's party, which I'm not so sure.
Sasa mambo ya baba.
Yes.
Baba. Mimi mwenyewe nimekuwa na baba from university, nilikuwa na support. Ili maintain kuwa top, lazima services ziwe top.
Yes, 100%.
In Nairobi kuna shida mingi sana. Kuna shida ya mabarabara, kuna shida ya drainage, na kukinyesha kwa dakika 30 peke yake kuna kuwa na ziwa la Nairobi. Kuna floods kila mahali. Ukienda CBD floods, ukienda kwenye estates floods, na hizo floods zinachukua hata maisha ya watu, zinaua watu.
Yes.
Ndikwe kazi. Wamama wanafaa ndikwe kazi. We mwenyewe umeweka budget ya county, ati unaandika the Green Army. Green Army unawapatia 18,000.
Yes.
18,000, na wewe budget yenye inafaa walipwe ni 30,000 per month. Hii 12,000 nani
unapeleka wapi?
Nani anaiba, nani anaikula hii 12,000? Na 18,000 utalipa rent na nini?
Yes.
Utasomesha mtoto na nini?
Transport.
Utafanya transport na nini? Utanunua nguo na nini? Tax pia inakatwa hapo. Sasa na unataka uinvest pia. So unapata ya kwamba ni kazi tu ya kufurahisha mtu, lakini haijengi mtu kimaisha. Kwa hivyo ninawaomba, mimi ni mchapa kazi.
Yes.
Mimi ni mchapa kazi. Naweza kuwa na mambo mengi.
Yes.
Kimaisha hapa na pale, lakini kazi naye hautani blame anything.
Wow.
Better the devil you know than the angel.
Hey, so Babu campaigns, and his campaign has started, and he's saying that he's a better devil because you know him. You know him about his life and maybe mistakes here and there, but it's because he grew up from the slums and he couldn't avoid it, you know. So he's arguing on the basis of sociology, where we say that the environment actually defines who you are, you know. So that's exactly his argument, and he's proving to the citizen that he will do the best if given an opportunity, you know. Now, when you look at this, many people are like, Raila is not possibly going to endorse him for Nairobi gubernatorial seat, but he is ready also to resign. That is what he said, right? Let's see. Now, there is also an upcoming rumor. It is a rumor because we don't actually have the reality. But when you look at so many analysts, political analysts, they are claiming that Edwin Sifuna's resignation letter leaked, you know. It leaked. And therefore, it has terrified Raila because of the rejection, you know, of the kind of rejection that he would face. Maybe let's get to see whether we can find this later. Yeah, and somebody who shared the information is known as Aoko Otieno. Let's check this tea here, the ginger tea. You know, it's so cold and we need ginger tea. Right, so can you see that letter there? From Aoko Otieno. Maverick, I believe. So, late night tea. Sifuna wrote his resignation later, said riffraffs like Atandi cannot give him ultimatum. His letter was intercepted by Nyong'o and Osoti, who reasoned out with him. He told him intergenerational conclave garbage equals set, and that Sifuna will lead the youth conversation. Jiandae kukula was what he was told. Best part, ODM will produce deputy president candidate and Nairobi governor candidate for 2027. Sakaja will vie under ODM. Bang, bang, bang. So, if you know what ginger is, you've seen that, right? Let's see whether we'll get the other part of the letter, guys. This is the ginger from ginger, but it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. Do you believe the story? But sometimes I normally consider someone like Maverick, by the way, is so much informed. She gets information from all over the places. She has so many people who give her first-hand information. And I may not doubt her story because most of the things she has been revealing have been coming up just as she said, guys, you know. Now, talking about abduction aspect, there is this activist, Mabili Mogodi. Up to now, nobody knows whether he was actually abducted or did he abduct himself, Mabili Mogodi. So, of course, he narrated very harrowing ordeal about himself and what he experienced. And we may just look into it and see. Because one of the situations that was doubted was also from Boniface Mwangi. But of course, he shared also very harrowing details. And it is what it is. Many people still doubt, but the reality might be there. So let's listen to this, which was actually in Mombasa, August 2nd, 2025. This is what he shared.
My life right now, there are people who are after me, who are sent by this president. And I want to ask all young Kenyans, please, be careful, protect yourselves, tujaribu tufike. Kama ushauri niliopewa na majasusi kutoka nchi jirani, waliniambia kuwa makini, ufike mwaka 2027. There is a clear intention to eliminate someone like, people like me. It's a horrifying ordeal. Sitaki mtu yote apitie whatever I have gone through. And now here I am, seeking justice in my country. A country with the constitution of Kenya 2010, the best constitution in Africa. Even my Tanzanian people say, hiyo katiba mlionayo hakuna mtu ataipata nchini yoyote. Imeharibiwa na imekosewa maana kabisa. Nimenyimwa kuandika OB. Hapa I've been denied a chance to write an OB, and now I have to depend on my lawyers for the next step of action.
All right. So we are seeing these activists actually coming out and saying they were abducted and also warning other people to be careful to reach 2027. And recently I just had a given analysis. I don't know whether it was Lequeen who was doing it or David Wafula or whoever, or whether it was on another platform. You know, there are so many political analysts, especially male, and I was looking into it and wondering, was he actually abducted? If that is true, what was the intention? What was the actual intention? You know? Because currently, of course, all of us, if you're not aware, there is a special team that is directed to go to different regions and find out the criminals, as they call them, terrorists, criminals, idlers, and all those sorts of people. And I think MCS now are doing the role of warning people within different regions to kukaa chonjo, or rather kukaa rada, so that nothing actually meets their eye, you know. So in case they think you are criminal, you'll be taken in. They think you are terrorist, you'll be taken in. And I think it's as a result of these many things you've seen, starting with what I started with, that is the group known as FBI, and into this other, you know, shenanigans, the collaborations, the selfish interests into 2027, and all those, you know, intergroups that we are seeing forming day after day, guys. So I don't know if we have any questions from anywhere, but of course I was forgetting also this thing about Murkomen. If you watch today, he was warning Lagat to ensure that this guy, there is a guy in Gajado who has been raping women door to door. And he has warned Lagat to ensure that he uses chiefs and any other person to have him arrested. And the interesting part came from the comment section. People are like, if you can order that, yeah, the interesting part was that people started saying, if you can order that to happen, then you can also order, you know, the recollection of all those people who are lost at some point in the country, you know. People currently are very funny, you know. They give prompt responses no matter what. They don't even want to know who they are responding to and what side. They just decide and respond, you know. So that is Kenya for us. As we wait for tomorrow, we are going on with so much, you know. As Senator Medu attacks Sifuna and says, forget about Sifuna. But then, Sifuna still is there and battling his way. So will he resign? That is a question. If you think he will resign, type in the comment section and let me get to know your thought. If you think Raila will win with from what Maverick has just shared, a letter she shared about the fact that Sifuna will be representing the youth, and we will have, you know, Sakaja running in ODM. Does he have a chance against Babu, really? Because people are thinking that Babu will not be endorsed by Raila to vie in Nairobi, because Raila is afraid of having somebody who is so radical standing out, you know. He wants people will be behind him, always worshipping. And all right, so bye guys. Let's meet another time like this. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate for the 6 likes and your presence. Thank you.